What's up? I'm Ayla.
Hi, I'm Beth Ann.
And this is Let's Talk BL, a Boys Love podcast.
Awesome. Welcome back. We are super excited, as always. Always. And we're back on our We Best Love agenda this week. We're thrilled to be talking to the guy we'd always brave a haunted house with, Evan Luau.
Hi guys, it's Evan here from WBL. I'm just excited to be here and we'll see how this goes.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great for sure.
I'm sure.
Well, we're going to warm up with a little game, as is our tradition on Let's Talk BL. We're going to start with a game called Lost in Translation. And so if you have not played Lost in Translation before, and if you haven't seen us play Lost in Translation before, the deal with Lost in Translation is that as English-speaking fans, we all know the struggle that is trying to find important information about our favorite actors on the internet in English. It's a struggle. And so what happens is fans most of the time end up translating our own info. We went online and we actually sourced some fan-translated information, a fan-translated bio, and then just some general fun facts. And we're going to find out what got lost in translation when all of that happened. So Beth Ann's going to get us started with the basics.
All right.
So I did ask a Taiwanese friend of mine how to pronounce your name because I was like, I'm going to try to say his native name. I don't want to get it wrong. So I have listened to that voice note incessantly, and my brain, after listening to Taiwanese dramas and Korean dramas and Thai dramas and Japanese dramas, my brain is just a mess. So forgive us for
You're lost.
any of this. Okay, so your name is Lu Du Hong. True or false?
I recognize that.
Okay, so, fix it.
Please tell us, how do we pronounce it?
It's Luo De Hong. There go like the second,
Yes, as we learned, so there are 4 tones, right?
Yeah.
So
the second tone.
Okay. Which is an up. Is that
it's like questions, asking questions. Each It's like Luo De Hong.
Luo De Hong.
Yeah, that's
Ayla's so much better.
You got it. Yeah.
This week me and Evan are the best
friends. Just question my name.
Amazing. Okay, your birthday is April 8th, 1991.
Correct. Eris.
Awesome. And your height is 185 centimeters. For those in the States, 6 foot.
It's like 184, 85. He goes, it depends on the day.
Nice.
This is my favorite part because every single time, we've only had one other actor be like, yes, that's right. Every other time, the actors are like, well.
Because you kind of, just lie a little bit on your resume.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you want to lie shorter, you want to lie taller. It depends on the part.
Fair.
Yeah.
So interesting. Okay, we found a bio for you somewhere on the internet. We'll see how this goes. Evan Luo is a Taiwanese actor and model, also a screenwriter. True or false?
Taiwanese model. Yes, but I'm also an American citizen.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I was born in the States, yeah.
Okay, so then that goes to the next one of he went to study in the U.S. when he was 12 years old, where he graduated from high school.
Yes, that's correct.
Evan is currently studying at National Taipei University of the Arts Theater Department and the Theater Art Creation Institute with a major in script writing.
Yes, but that's a master degree and MFA degree. Yeah.
Cool. So is that what you kind of want to go towards? Would you kind of do both?
You mean acting and writing?
Mm-hmm.
I first, I've always wanted to be a performer.
Okay.
And so of course, at first I was thinking of being just an actor exclusively. But then I started discovering that there are just different skill sets that you need to have as an actor. One of them being analytical or just being good at understanding a script.
Right.
So I just thought that, I can still act, and then I can take some writing classes to assist my acting, and then that ended up being my second hobby. Well, not hobby, but just my my second passion, and then they just kind of just intertwined that way.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Awesome. So we're going to get into some fun facts, some details. Let's start with your filmography. So, of course, because we alluded to this earlier with our haunted house joke, We Best Love, number one for you. We Best Love, Fighting Mr. Second. And then a short film, the title of which we are almost 100% sure got lost in translation because we looked at it about 500 times and do not understand. The title that is given to fans on the internet that has clearly been translated is Sacrifaction Dad of this short film. Help us out. Is this true? What is this? Tell us.
Sacrifaction Dad.
Is that even a
We
word?
literally have a note in here that says this definitely didn't translate right.
That's definitely off. But I'm thinking, what could it be?
The info is it was a short film from 2015.
Ray, what's the storyline?
We don't know. You have to tell us. Do you have any other filmography that the internet clearly has missed? What did the internet miss?
I did do this short film about this father who's diabetic.
That's got to be it.
Maybe.
That's got to be it, because I feel like the root word of this like sacrifaction is like saccharin, which is like sweet, right? It's like sugar.
Yeah.
So I feel like this has got to be it.
Oh yeah, I remember the director of that short film. She was asking me how should she translate the name, and at one point we were like, "Sugar Daddy," but no. We're like, no,
incredible. That's the most interesting part about getting into foreign shows and media is that there's never a direct English translation of titles. So it's like when you do start to learn languages, you start to recognize like this doesn't equal this.
Not at all. Yeah.
And yeah, that's always interesting. So for We Best Love, what was the We Best Love title? Did it directly translate?
The
Chinese title for We Best Love.
Oh, so what's the English one for the first one?
So the first one is number one for you.
Oh, so a direct translation of the Chinese name for that is number one forever.
Cute. That's way cuter.
Oh well, I didn't translate that.
Come on.
And then the second one is Fighting Mr. Second, right?
Yeah.
Right. The official translation. That's closer to the Chinese one. It's like the revenge of number two.
Which makes so much sense based on that storyline.
Yeah.
So speaking of translating in We Best Love, the fun facts are very fun because we have literally had people talking about this first fun fact to us for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Our first fun fact is that you, Evan, have written some Bing-Wei Jie-Yu fanfic.
Oh,
True or false?
I have. But it was I didn't do that like on purpose. Like I wasn't thinking that I was writing a fanfic, so-called fanfic. And then it happened because I was having this interaction in this online group chat with some of the fans, right? And they were just obsessing over what happened to us, because if you look closely, our story just was kind of told in like a bullet point way.
Yeah.
That you see the dots, but the lines that connects them was never there. So people were kind of obsessed about, you know, what happened and what might happen. So then I was just, you know, trying to give back to the fans.
You were being helpful. You were being helpful.
Yes.
Completely made it up.
That was the one thing about We Best Love that you guys did a lot of press conferences for, and it was so interesting to watch, and especially that interaction, because I think they ask you about it and you're sitting next to Richard and his response is like, I don't know, he does these things, like he's just like,
he has no idea what I'm up to.
Oh, it's so good.
Love it.
Okay.
So our next fun fact is that you cannot drink milk because, as has been translated, you are allergic to milk, which, aka, you are lactose intolerant. True or false?
Correct. True.
True.
Yeah.
So
but I can have some cake though. Just not
the important things in life.
Yeah. Just not pure milk.
Wait, can you eat ice cream?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotta get the important
Carefully.
Yeah.
So next fun fact. In 2020, Evan's first screenwriting work, 5 Lessons in Happiness, Little Man, was broadcast on the online screening platform Gaga Ulala. True.
That is correct. True.
So tell us about this screenwriting work. Was that super exciting that it got out there on the internet on Gaga Ulala, which is super accessible, by the way, for international fans? You can go watch it. We have both watched it.
Cool.
So you can actually still go watch it on Gaga Ulala.
Okay. So what should I say? What should I respond to?
Tell us about it. Was that an exciting process? What was it like for that to get out there for literally everyone? It's so easy to access and watch.
Yeah, of course it's exciting, and it was exciting for me because you know how LGBTQ stories has always been about well, not has always, but like most of the time you see an LGBTQ story about coming out of closet, right?
Yeah.
It's always it seems like it's been like that, and so the director of that project was telling us that we should do something that's not a coming out of closet story. We should all, you know, go on to different issues that's also very important in the community. And so with Big Little Man in particular was dealing with the anxiety within the gay community about how they look, about looks, like, and sizes. You know, like people would ask like, oh, how big is your so and so, and then they will kind of decide on that factor whether they want to date you or not. So that definitely has played a big part in dating life in the community. So that was why I talked to some friends. So and then I decided that I was gonna write about it. Yeah, and it
was so good. For a short film, I was like, oh, this, like, it told so much, and the characters were so dynamic that like it didn't leave me confused. Like I totally was satisfied with that like story where from beginning to end it was very cute. Question: the pool that you guys shot in, was that the We Best Love pool?
You mean for Big Little Man?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I wasn't. I didn't like go to the
filming.
To the film.
It looks exactly the same.
I will look into that.
So Anna's obsessed. She's like, it's the same pool. I know it is.
It looks the same, but
I'll let you know.
I'm sure like all like university pools look similar.
Yeah, similar.
Yeah. and-
Okay, so last but not least, and you kind of mentioned this earlier, so it's cool that we also were able to find this fan translated, which is that you have done stage work and appeared in plays. One play that you appeared in as a university student in university was 12 Angry Men. True or false?
True. And actually, most of my acting work so far happened in the theater more than it did on the screen. Yeah, so I didn't really start my film career, if you call it a career. I didn't start until maybe 2-3 years ago. So I'm
Which do
fairly
you prefer?
new.
Do you prefer the stage or the screen?
Well, I don't really have a preference for that, but I would say that if you can, and if you're interested in acting, if you can, do theater as much as you can, because it just gives you that, it's just more spontaneous, because you're live there and the audience is there with you, and then it just trains you in a way that I don't think any other formats could. Yeah, it just makes you a better listener, I think.
Cool.
But then there are the downsides, because when I was filming, because I was fairly new to this, and then on stage you have to hit the marks, but you still get a pretty big space for performing. But then when you were filming, you have to hit the mark. and then when I was just filming my first short films, I always missed the mark, and then the crew were like, hit your mark. Hit your mark. I'm like, oh, okay. Got it.
That's so funny.
So tell us specifically how you made that move and got into screen acting, and how you got the role of Bingwei.
Well, how did I get into filming?
Yeah,
And acting in
industry?
And
general.
acting in general.
Oh, and acting in general. Oh, okay. Well, I got into acting not because I want, not because I had a conscious choice, but I was, I just finished high school, right? And then you gotta pick a major for your university. So I was like, man, what can I do? What do I like? I'm not particularly good with, math and science. So I was like, that's a no. And what else do I want to do? So I was just looking through the majors in alphabetical orders. So I was like,
Stop
okay,
it.
accounting, maybe no. Biology, nah. And then I got to theater, and I was like, I've always enjoyed going to the theater. And when I was in the States, I watched so many films because I didn't really speak English at first. So I just stayed home. I had no friends, so I just spent my time with movies. So when I saw theater, I was like, huh, the people on those screens, they went to theater schools, right? So
Yeah.
I was like, maybe I can get my head into it and explore a little bit. And then I've just fell in love afterwards. Then I started doing theater and decided to come back to Taiwan because at that time I didn't feel that there was enough opportunity for Asian in general in America for acting. And so I came back to Taiwan, and then I just like I said, I was studying acting and then writing later on. And afterwards, I just kind of, after a while, I got kind of tired with maybe just the atmosphere or just the mentality of working in theater, because it is hard work, and sometimes it doesn't pay you as well. So it's just hard work, and then you have to enjoy the hunger sometimes. So then I was like, maybe I should look for some other options there is. And because of my modeling work, I met some people in the industry, and I had this meeting with them, and they say, okay, well, we'll see how it works with you. So that's how it all started, really. And then comes Bing Wei. It was just a normal audition day. You get a call, you get a message saying what date, this is the scripts, prepare, come, and that's what I did. But I did feel somewhat different now I think about it. On that day, I was kind of, normally I will go into the room and then start playing the role. But on that day, on the casting day for Bing Wei, well, actually I didn't go to the casting for Bing Wei. I was actually going to the casting for 是的.
Interesting. That is so interesting because Richard told us, who plays your couple pairing, that he first auditioned for like Shide's partner. But you guys still ended up getting paired together, which is this is like wildly interesting for me. Yes. So you went in, you were auditioning for Shide. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. So I was saying that I normally would just go into the room and play the role, right? But then on that particular day, I step out my door, my room, and feeling like 是的. And that was kind of magical to me. I was feeling it, and I got into the casting room with you. Yeah, and we were auditioning together. Yeah, and then everything was just like I said, magical. It just flows so well. So I don't know if they like really consider my 是的 the version they wanted, but then they definitely saw that that there was some chemistry going on. So they were just putting me with different people, and Richard being one of them. Yeah, and then they just found their Bing Wei that way.
Yeah, you guys have such great. You guys have some great chemistry. We truly, like you were saying earlier, we don't get like a developed storyline, but you guys give us so much in those moments that you are together that like you do have an idea of like what this relationship looks like and like the evolution of it all. And the fact that like Richard's character just like abandons Gao Shide for you is like truly my favorite moment. When I was rewatching the series, I was like, hold up, like
what just happened?
They used to be best friends. Be best
friends. He like went through all those pranks for him, and then suddenly he's like peace out, like I'm gonna go hang out with Bing Wei, he's way cooler.
Cooler. Yeah, I think that you do have good chemistry with you as well, because Bing Wei is the little prankster friend, right? Yeah, he's the one that's sort of helping with all the pranks that go wrong that end up not falling on Gao Shide, even though they're supposed to. Gao Shide, as we would all say. Yeah, so I think that you guys do have good chemistry, but I think they got it right with the casting. I do.
Yeah, I feel so too. Yeah.
So then getting into script writing, do you have like a different perspective when you go into acting now? Because you got into script writing after acting, correct?
Yes.
So is that something that like when you got in the process, you were like, I want to learn this part of it? What was the connection from acting to screenwriting?
Well, how should I say this? Well, for an actor, there are skill sets that you need to, be good at or improve on. And being good with script is one of them. So when I first started acting, I wasn't really aware of how your voice and the text should work.
Gotcha.
So every time I would do a line, it would feel kind of stiff, or I would feel like that's not really conveying what I wanted to. So then I discovered that it is because I was not in touch with the language. So I started reading more, and as you read more, you just kind of want to try to output a little something. So I just started writing, and then it just goes from there. And then after I got the hang of what it feels like to be in touch with this language thing, my acting has certainly improved by miles, because sometimes you don't get a lot of time understanding the role. I mean, you spend time afterwards, but sometimes you get this part and then you were asked to read for it, right? And then if you're not in touch with the language, you would just kind of be, feeling distance from it, and you can't really do it right. But once I got the hang of, what it feels like to be reading the text right, I feel like my expression would just kind of make everything more vivid at first glance. So then afterwards you can dive into even deeper.
Yeah.
Because you found the right entrance for that.
That process is so
Yeah.
interesting. I think especially for anybody who is not in that world, that to hear about the process and how it all comes together and how it all plays together, I think is super interesting. And I think really helps walk us through the show and how our favorite actors get to the point where they can portray these people that we get so invested in.
Yeah.
And so specifically, We Best Love truly became like the darling of the BL fandom world. I mean, people loved it. I mean, we love it. And people truly, I mean, it's all anybody was talking about. And these characters are so dear to people's hearts, and they just identify with them, and they are so invested in them. And this happened really broadly. So we are members of the international BL fan community. And so we, of course, saw everything happening and we're a part of everything happening internationally. For you as a cast member, as Bing Wei, did you see that happening internationally? And what was that like to sort of see We Best Love become so popular internationally?
Well, I've always known that BL is a popular genre, or that it has a pretty how should you say, like, pretty devoting fans.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really surprised that it's gotten so popular. I wasn't really surprised, but I was not expecting the scale to be to be this big, right? So yeah, it was definitely a huge surprise. How can I say? It was So what was the question? Sorry, I forgot.
Just your experience, as a cast member, having sort of this like huge international fan base, kind of rush to you and to the show, because We Best Love is very recent. This is not, we have seen over the past year a lot of sort of older shows have this resurgence of popularity, but they had already been released. They had already been out, because in the fan community, we talk a lot about how the pandemic and everybody being in lockdown, sort of this huge like rush to BLs happened because people discovered this thing that they didn't know about before.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Mhm.
And so we've seen a lot of movement towards these older shows that got released a while ago that people are just finding for the first time.
Right.
But We Best Love is actually a new show.
Yeah.
So just, hearing your experience, that like the scale of it all,
Yeah.
I think is so interesting.
It's, you don't expect people be sending you gifts from wherever. Like you will receive a drawing of you, food from their hometown, and you just go, wow, have I done something? What have I done? Yeah, so it's it's pretty interesting and intriguing to me that the show has gotten so much response, and it must mean something, deep down. So, but I wonder why, because I never really had like a direct conversation with fans or in-depth conversation with fans, like, what is it?
What is it about We Best Love?
Yeah.
Well, for us, we can tell you, when I got into BLs, my first BLs were Thai BLs, but when I found Taiwanese BLs and when I was thinking about getting Ayla into BLs, I was like, we're starting with the Taiwanese because these dramas are incredible storytelling. They have such developed characters. There's no giant stereotypes. There's no, like, the focus a lot of times isn't necessarily that these two characters are gay. It's that they're like, human,
whatever else is going on in their
telling
life.
a story. And so I was like, Ayla, we're getting you into the BLs and we're starting with the Taiwanese drama.
I'm big on storytelling personally.
Yeah.
I, in my day job, am a creative professional. I'm a writer. And so like I am very like the storytelling has to be there for me personally.
Yeah.
And this is very, very true of We Best Love, that the storyline is just good and the pacing is really good.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you see these stories move too quickly or move way too slowly.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people forget that pacing does draw you in. And so I think especially with We Best Love, the pacing is really, really good. And just the characters, you identify with them. So even though these are people from a different culture, speaking a different language, with sort of like a different cultural background, and so they're, therefore they just have a different like worldview than you do. Even though there are all of those barriers and all of those different things, you still identify with what they're going through. Like, we've all been there, right? There are these moments where you watch them and you're like, I've been there. Like, I understand this feeling. And I think that's what made We Best Love so dear to everyone's hearts, is because of the sort of, I would say, there are 4 sort of main characters and 2 main couples. Of course, we add a third in the second season. Out of those sort of 4 people, when you're first introduced to We Best Love, you're going to find one of them that you just identify with, that you just are like, I understand how he feels because I have been there, and like that would drive me crazy too. Or I know that like this exact thing has happened to me. And I mean, I think it just draws you in. And so I think especially with your couple in We Best Love, y'all really became a fan favorite, right? You mentioned that fans were like, yeah. I mean, right? You heard from your fans that they were like, wait, we need to have the story in the middle. This wasn't enough for us. We need more. Because I think that y'all brought a lot of like lightheartedness to what admittedly can be very dramatic. And like,
with Samuel.
Yes. Oh
yes.
my God.
Oh yeah.
So y'all brought a lot of like lightheartedness, and we all loved it. And so everyone went wild over that proposal. Just jump in season 2. Everyone was so excited. Did you know how popular your couple was when you were getting ready to shoot that?
No, I did not know. I mean, it's actually a surprise to hear that, because I've always thought the favorite couple is Sam Yu, because they are the dramatic center of it all.
They are. It's true, but
yeah, I mean, now I get it. It's the lightheartedness of it.
yeah. So
I
that's
was
so
not aware of it.
interesting
Yeah.
because we were so curious to know if that put any pressure on you because you did the proposing. Bing Wei did the proposing.
Right.
And it's such a nice scene. And I think that, and so it's really interesting. We talk about this a lot that you see Bing Wei is kind of getting advice from Shide right before. And they have this big, like, Bing Wei is kind of, he's going through it. It's like honestly, one of my favorite scenes in the show because Bing Wei takes this deep breath. He's like, and Shide has to be like, calm down. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we were so curious to know if the popularity and the fact that everyone had been anticipating this put any pressure on you. But if you didn't know,
No, I did not know.
Yeah, did you see the popularity after season 1? Because you guys filmed season 1 and season 2 back to back, right?
Right.
So I thought it was interesting because we rarely get a season 2 in BLs. And so when We Best Love season 1 was ending, I know the conversation internationally was like the anticipation for season 2, which is probably why it was good that you guys just like filmed it all at once. Because man, like We Best Love for season 2, like people were excited. We were like, not only are we getting a season 2, but like we're getting it quickly and we get to see, like, I love a time jump in a show. I just love that trope. And so to get that time jump, and then we got like a little bit of story in between.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, again, this show just like was solid. We loved it.
Yeah, the good thing about how they planned this whole thing was it was really based on the story and how they wanted how they wanted the relationship to develop. So that's why they planned 2 seasons because they knew that that's the only way there's going to be enough room for that to play out. So that's why they did what they did.
and also because we really needed to see you guys in all those suits. The costuming in season 2 was amazing.
Solid.
I've been getting comments about that. Yeah, people are like, I want to see you in suits. Can you do like a suit thing for me? I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
The costuming was so good in season 2. Yes, we definitely, everyone loved that. So we know We Best Love, we've talked about it a lot now, was super popular internationally. But do you find that the show and just BLs in general are just as popular in Taiwan?
Should I say? I think BL has always been kind of a like underground thing, like a subculture thing, and then it's been in the conversation for the not too long ago. It's just the past few years with History series coming out, and then people were surprised by how popular it can be, how popular a BL series can be. So then people kind of just follow that route and then started making more BL. So it's more popular now in the public eyes, I would say, but it has always it's been there because there's been these passionate fans of the genre, just being there supporting it. And so in Taiwan it's like that too, that you get this, like I said, I was in school and then I just started discovering some of my classmates have these secrets fetish of like coupling classmates, like male classmates together, and then they came out of the closet to me saying that I'm a fan of BL. So yeah, I think it's popular, but it's popular, but not like it's something that you talk when the door is closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So has the popularity kind of opened up that conversation? Is it becoming more mainstream?
It has become more mainstream, but I think it's still on the way to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
If that, you know, yeah, like people don't realize the power there, the impact that it can make. I mean, people are starting to, and but some people kind of discredit it as just, you find a bunch of, good-looking guys and you just put them in this LGBTQ scenarios, and then you have a hit. But then they don't see a serious dramatic work.
Yeah.
Right. The story. I think that's something that we kind of, when we started this podcast and we talk a lot about, is that we hope and we think it's getting to the point where, like, it's not an embarrassing thing to like BL because the storylines are really good. It's really about the stories. And so when we will tell people about like a drama that we're watching and we'll explain the story, they're like, oh, I didn't realize there was so much going on in this story.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. I mean, we both had this experience together. My sister's fiance was like, what are you guys watching? And we told him, and he sat down and he started watching an episode with us, and he totally got sucked in, and he had never like watched BL before, but the storyline was just so interesting. So I think it's getting that way internationally too, but it definitely, I think it started that way, and there's still a little bit of, like you said, like, it's not really something you would publicly tell people about. But there's still very much is like, we're going to talk about this behind closed doors, and you're going to almost like feel embarrassed about liking these storylines, and you shouldn't be, and you don't have to be. And so I think people are just like starting to get more open about it now that there's this huge like movement towards it internationally. Right. So that's I think maybe we're like a half step ahead, maybe, in terms of people being willing to talk about it publicly.
I think in the States and internationally, we just don't have a lot. We don't have the quantity that the BL community has. Like we had Call Me by Your Name, we had Brokeback Mountain, and those were two very well told stories, but that's it. Like we just don't have the access to all these storylines. And so that's why I think they became big hits here. But again, those stories aren't being told as regularly as they are in Asian countries with the BL industry.
Yeah, the interesting with BL is that you kind of have to draw the line between BL and say a queer film. Because BL, I was reading this book, and it was saying that BL was actually the audience for BL was meant to be women, girls, because it just kind of realized in drama they just kind of make the fantasy of what pure love can be, in the work of BLs. But with queer dramas, you sometimes have to deal with darker things. With like coming out of closet, feeling suicidal because you're not accepted. But in BL, it's kind of a world of its own that is kind of in a perfect bubble. So that sometimes people get confused with what a gay movie is.
Yeah.
So when you were mentioning, Brokeback Mountain, Call Me by Your Names, I can still come up with different film credits with LGBTQ things, but for BLs, there really isn't much of that sort of work in the Western culture.
Right. Totally. And that's why I think the Taiwanese dramas and We Best Love, like, they give you depth in BL that I think helps elevate the genre. But like, again, when I suggest people start in BLs, I'm like, go to the Taiwanese dramas because yes, of course it's about like two attractive men getting together, but also there's like depth and there's these storylines and there's, you know, stories that we want to watch and we get really invested in. And it's, you know, it's interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's yeah, I think that's one of the best things about BL is that it's a genre that deals exclusively with love.
Yeah.
With just pure love.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything happens because of it. Yeah.
So we talked a little bit earlier about like the lightheartedness that Bingwei, that your couple really bring to We Best Love that is very helpful a lot of times. There are some great comedic scenes. Y'all really, and especially Jaeyu and Bingwei, bring a lot of comedic relief to the show that I think as viewers we crave. Is that something that the two of you as actors had to practice to build that comedic chemistry, or did it just come naturally and it was like a surprise?
Well, we did have rehearsals, but I don't think we worked on our comedic timing in particular, but rather than figuring out what this thing is asking for. So we would talk about, you know, this is Bingwei dealing with he's lost of a friend because, you know, Shui is going after Shide, right? This is Bingwei's sad moment, and for Zheyu, that's also a sad moment. And then we'll have these conversations about what the characters going through, and then that's how we will start our rehearsals, and then funny things like the funny comedic elements would kind of just come. They just kind of come in, and you can't really plan something funny, you know. You have to kind of let go and then let it happen.
Yeah.
I think what's great about the comedy that y'all bring to the show is that it's almost subtle. So of course there's that haunted house scene that's just very funny and we all know is supposed to be funny. But there's one particular scene in Number One for You and one particular scene in Fighting Mr. Second that are so subtly funny. The first one in season 1 is when y'all are eating lunch together and you're like feeding each other. And it's like, it's so subtly funny that it's like a serious scene and it's like, look at their relationship has progressed and isn't that nice? But it's also just the way that you play on each other is very funny and it's subtle. And I think that's what people like about it is that it seems real. It seems natural.
Yeah.
And then in season 2, there's a scene in the car when y'all are arguing about,
oh my gosh, this is my favorite moment because
it's so many people's favorite moment
because Yu's character just like confronted Sam for the first time and you guys are sitting there like trying to be supportive friends, but also you work for Yu's character, so like you can't really cross the line. And so but then like he's, you know, you guys have talked to him and then you just have this moment between the two of you where you're just like bickering and it's like so seamless. And it's like, when I rewatched it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is this is definitely a show that like, I think is worth like 2 or 3 rewatches because you see something different every time. Because the emotion of Sam Yu kind of like overwhelms the first time. And then the second time, which was nice that they did that they put out the special edition, because you get a little more and you pay attention a little more. And I feel like you guys shine even brighter the second time because you're like, oh, these guys are
subtle comedy.
So funny. Yeah. One of my favorite.
I think that's part of the reason people like you as a couple pairing so much. I think that's why they like Jaeyu and Bingwei so much as a couple pairing because it feels relaxed. I think that's part of it.
It just feels like the first time I met Richard is like because I've been in the room for casting for
Right.
like the whole afternoon, right? And then he just comes in like 10 minutes and then people were like, okay, so it's you guys now, just go for it, Joey and Bing Wei. Let's see how what happens, right?
Yeah.
And then it just happened. Like nothing was planned. Like I was in a rush because I've been there for too long. I had to go. and then Richard came in, not too familiar with the whole process, and then we just went for it, and then it just happened to be one of the greatest acting moments I have.
One of the greatest, yeah.
Amazing.
I've experienced so far, yeah.
That's
So
cool.
we talked a little bit earlier, but kind of about culture and how these dramas, and especially We Best Love, sort of open Taiwan up to international fans. And we have seen parts of the culture and the country that, as you know, people from North America, Europe, places that are not Taiwan, that we have not seen before. And a lot of people now have Taiwan like on their travel list, and they want to go visit when it's safe to travel again. So is there any place or specific activity that you would recommend fans to do when it's safe for us to travel again?
There are a lot. It's a beautiful island. So let me think. Well, I mean, night market is definitely something that you should experience. The food is amazing here, and also we have. If you love food, we got you. And if you don't love food, I mean, who doesn't love food? I mean, everyone loves it. But if you want to like go to like explore the natures, we have that too. So I would say,
is there a favorite dish that you recommend?
This is a very hard question for me. Well, okay. Well, first of all, I would say the one thing to do just travel around the island. Really, just visit. Yeah, like every city has something to offer, and back to my favorite dish.
You can't get away from that question.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, well,
we stumped him. We did it. We did it, you guys.
This is too hard. Maybe
we broke your brain.
Is there a dessert? Is there a good dessert?
Oh yeah, we have bean curd tofu.
Oh.
It's like tofu.
Yeah.
But a lot more tender.
Okay.
And you can eat it salty, but it's usually served with sugar water here. And you can, put like tapioca or rice balls in it together. So it's like tofu with some garnish.
Into it.
Does that? I'm not selling it right? And then we have what for desserts? You like? Okay, well, I think you should tell me like what's your favorite type of foods, and I can like see if there's like equivalent or.
Beth Ann would literally never stop eating ice cream if somebody didn't stop her, if that's helpful.
Oh, we have this this ice cream that's served with peanut powder.
Uh-huh.
And it's and then there's like a wrap. You put it in a wrap and then with peanut powder and with some what's it called? It's this little strong aromatic veggie, like small leaves, like
mint. Basil.
That type of thing.
Okay.
That type of thing.
And what is it called?
Let me see. I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it.
What do you eat on a daily basis?
Evan is going to help you, Beth Ann. Evan will get you your dessert.
Oh, coriander.
Oh, coriander.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's a wrap.
Isn't that thing that like you doesn't like? There's I
don't know what you're talking about.
There's like a variety show where they're like where you guys appeared on like a variety show.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a joke between the cast talking about coriander. Is that right? Anyways.
Sounds familiar, but I think
this shows you how big of a fan Beth is.
Yeah.
He just remembers these random variety show appearances.
We have really
you remember that thing you did a year ago?
You.
I think it's you.
Yeah.
That actor. Yeah. He doesn't like it.
Correct.
But I love it. So there's this peanut it's like I think it's vanilla ice cream served with peanut butter and coriander in a wrap.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's something that I would recommend you to try if you like ice cream.
There you go.
Yeah,
sounds good.
When we go to Taiwan?
What about Ayla?
I actually don't really have a sweet tooth. I eat like savory foods, but okay, here's the thing. I really like spicy food.
Then you should definitely try our hot pot.
Okay.
Do you like organs, like livers? Do you care for those?
Honestly, I don't know is the answer because I've never actually tried it.
Okay, well then you should. When you come, you should try it with the hot pot.
That's
spicy hot pot.
Yeah, hot pot is something that I still have yet to try. When I lived in New York City, I just like never got around to it because there's so many options. We'd go to Chinatown like every Sunday, and so I've had like a good amount of food. I've had I think it's a Taiwanese dessert that's like it's like. It has all the things in it. It has like taro in it, and it's like a jelly.
Love taro.
All those kind of.
Is it milky? Is it like a dairy?
Yeah, I think so. There's there's lots of foods that I never knew the name of, and luckily, like the friends that I was with, one was Taiwanese, and I'm like, just order for me. I'll eat whatever you bring me because it's always good.
Yeah. So yeah, we really do have good food. But I mean, I understand that when you were in New York, there's the option. New York is just delicious. New York, so it's
Yes.
So the food that's
I will come up with a list. I don't know.
Yes, we send you with homework. Please come up with a list of food.
It's so hard.
You have to come on the podcast and you leave with homework. No one told you about that.
Maybe the next episode we'll do like the Taiwanese food.
Well, when we make it to Taiwan, that will be. Now we have a list started.
Yeah, I will maybe.
Are you offering to be our food guide when we come to Taiwan?
I don't mind. It'd be my pleasure. But
this is what we're gonna see. Evan's next thing is like Evan's food
I would
tours.
be so lost. I would be like, that's good. That's good. What do you want to try?
Oh, that's amazing.
We won't put you through that. So, last but not least, we're gonna wrap this up. This has been a very entertaining.
How long has it been? Okay.
Listen, you said you wanted to talk to fans. Here you go.
Right.
You started this.
Yes, okay. It's my fault.
It's true.
Tell us, do you have any current or upcoming projects that we can look forward to that fans can look forward to if they're listening, if they made it this far?
I hope they do. Stay with us.
I hope they do.
Yes.
Well, I am doing 2 creative projects. One of them is a song. I'm working on a song.
Whoa.
And I'm not like trained. Well, I was in a band when I was in high school. I played the trumpet, but I was never like seriously about music. So not as serious as Richard,
Do you mean you're not a classically trained violinist who like went to Juilliard?
Yeah, I'm not like that too. Yeah, so I'm not like that. But then I have gotten into, just writing lyrics. So then I have this friend who is a professional musician, and I talked him into doing something with me. So
Nice.
we'll see. It'll probably come out at the end of the year, I think.
That's
And
so
then-
exciting. I love music crossovers. That's like my favorite thing.
Yeah, it's been difficult because it's my first, but then it's been super rewarding because you learn so much, right? And then the other one is my play. I am working on a play, and that should get me my degree.
Nice.
Oh, so it's your thesis
Well,
play
yeah,
then.
part of it. But then it's always audience friendly. So
Nice.
yeah, and
Awesome.
then what else? Not so much for acting so far because with COVID, everything just kind of slowing down,
Yeah.
and then we'll see.
Well, there's rumors for We Best Love season 3, so we're always fingers crossed for any more from these characters. We truly appreciate you joining us and talking all things.
It was a pleasure of mine.
We Best Love. It really is an honor. It's so fun to hear from the people who bring these characters to life that we adore. And
really appreciate you guys.
So where can we follow you on social media to keep track of what you're doing?
Oh yeah, so I am on Instagram, and so it is actor with an underline and then Evan. Gosh, I'm still thinking about the food. I'm still thinking about
But damn, you broke his brain.
Amazing.
So it's actor, and then you get like a little underline there, and then Evan, and then another underline, and then motto. Actor,
yeah.
Evan, motto. Yeah, just see
Love
me
it.
there. I'm on Instagram, and I am also on Twitter. But I am missing. I'm missing there. Like I'm a missing person there.
Us too.
Yeah,
It's
I
fine.
do not use it as much as I use my Instagram.
So Instagram's the ticket. If you want to find Evan, if you want to talk to him, if you want to tell him how awesome Bing Wei
If you
is.
want the list for
If you want the
You have to post that in the next week.
Yeah.
Recommendations. People are gonna be like, what are they talking about?
What is this?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for coming on with us, hanging out with us, accepting this homework assignment.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate
and people,
it.
please go follow Let's Talk BL, right? That's
us.
your that's your Instagram account, right?
Yeah.
Let's Talk BL. Yeah, you guys have an amazing program for BL fans, I think. It's so helpful and so informative, I feel like, and it's nice. What's nice about it is that it kind of just opens up the conversation when when people feel kind of embarrassed, they have somewhere to go, and then seeing you guys being so out and loud about it, they should learn from you. They may get inspired by you guys.
Well, you're missing good content if you're not watching the BLs.
True.
I think on that incredibly high praise, we can wrap up, and we will see you guys next time.
It's all downhill from now.
It's all downhill. We're never gonna go any higher than this. We're retiring now.
We have Evan's stamp of approval. We are done.
We did it.
Oh no.
No, we will see you guys next time on Let's Talk BL.
See you guys. Bye.